Hello to my 355 beautiful subscribers. Welcome back to the Gregory Wright Show. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you had a terrific time on Thursday, spending time with family and friends and good food and drink. There's a lot of news to cover that's been happening over the last week or so. One of which Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, the two Harris-Walz, two candidates for the 2024 presidential nomination, they disappeared from the world stage, I want to say around November 6th or 7th. I know Kamala Harris, she took a vacation to Hawaii for at least 10 days with her husband, Doug Emhoff. And I guess to lick her wounds and, look back on where she went wrong, where her campaign went wrong, where her mega donors went wrong, where Hillary and Obama went wrong, and where Joe Biden went wrong to cause this huge landslide loss against Donald J. Trump. She created a video on November 26, 2024. And she is looking quite the mess. I don't know. It looks like she's been drinking. It looks like, she popped a pill or two. She just doesn't look sober to me. That's just my opinion. I am not a body language professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm just going with my own two eyes that God gave me, right? Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz hold virtual event for supporters. Now, which supporters are they talking about? Are they talking about the mega donors, or are they talking about the people who voted for her, the 74 million people who voted for her? Or are they talking about, who are they talking about? The globalists? So without any further ado, we're just going to hop right into this sucker, right?
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Back at you, brother. You are such an extraordinary leader, and we have become lifelong friends. I just, in front of everyone, I want to thank you, Tim. You lead with courage. You lead with heart. You see the people. You care about the people. You believe in uplifting the dignity to which all people are entitled, and you do it and you have a sense of fun when you're doing it.
I mean, look at her. I mean, does she look like herself here? I tell you, the Democratic Party needs to deconstruct the Democratic National Committee from top to bottom. And the party also needs to do some soul searching, because this is not the person that you would want holding the nuclear codes. I'm just being straight up with you. We dodged a bullet when we reelected Donald J. Trump in a landslide. More than half the country made a statement and said, we do not want 4 more years of Harris.
But you are an extraordinary leader, and obviously the people of Minnesota are very, very lucky to have you there. But you are a national leader and a dear friend, and thank you. Noel, thank you for your work in Pennsylvania and all that you did for our campaign. And let me just say to everyone on this call, I am so grateful for you, and I'm so thankful to you. I'm thankful for your love of our country and your willingness to put the work into it. I'm thankful for the faith that you put in me and Governor Walz and our team. And I am thankful because I know your character is such that you're not going to get knocked down. And you're in this fight. And you're in it for all the right reasons. And I know that about you. It's why you're part of this call right now, and all the work that you did over those 107 days and even before. That's your nature. And the outcome of this election obviously is not what we wanted. It is not what we worked so hard for. But I am proud of the race we ran. And your role in this was critical What we did in 107 days was unprecedented. Think about the coalition that we built, and we were so intentional about that. You would hear me talk about it all the time. Being a daughter of parents who were active in the civil rights movement, I know and believe that the best movements that are about progress in our country mean that it's leaders that we are dedicated to the coalition, to bringing people together that seemingly have nothing in common, but have everything in common. A coalition where we bring people together based on a deep love of our country and our understanding that the strength of our country will be a function of our willingness to put in the work, and that we will do that work with a sense of joy, yes.
Again, I just don't think that she is right here. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her mouth. Look at her eyes. And what type of work is she talking about? She puts in the work. She was the border czar for the last 3.5 years. She did nothing to secure our U.S. southern border. The only work she managed to do was to increase inflation on hardworking Americans like you and I. That's all she did. And to stir up controversy, fan the flames of division between people who support Trump and people who support Biden Harris.
With a sense of work ethic and understanding that it's going to be hard, but it's good work. It's good work to be engaged in a collective fight for America's future. And it means so much to me and to Governor Walz that you knocked on doors, you called friends, you called in favors. You said, hey, I showed up at your softball game, now I need you to show up at the campaign office. You put in the time, it was personal for you. And you gave all that you could to support our campaign. Because of your efforts, get this, we raised an historic $1.4 billion, almost $1.5 billion.
So her campaign raised $1.4 billion with a B, and then ended up, after 107 days, $20 million in the hole. Her donors got no return on investment. They got a huge L on November 5th when all the numbers came in. And they're still counting in California, by the way. It takes more than a week or two to count. There are second and third world countries that do all the counting within a 24-hour period.
From grassroots supporters alone, the most in presidential campaign history. Nearly 8 million donors contributed an average donation of about $56 to fuel our people-powered campaign. And understand that the work that we did included the work that so many of you here did, which is to talk to first-time voters. Many of you are first-time voters. And to talk about how being involved can make a difference. And that remains true. And that's one of the pieces that I just want us to please take away, that our fight for freedom and for opportunity and for the promise of America, it included, for example, almost 4 million first-time contributors to our campaign because of the work you did of helping people know that they can be engaged and that they're not outside, that they're inside, that we're all in this together. And that work continues. The work must continue of reminding ourselves that we...
Did you hear that? She studied to be a lawyer, passed the bar exam. I don't know if it was a second time passing it, but she has bad grammar as a lawyer. The work must continue. Let's bring that back.
They can be engaged and that they're not outside, that they're inside, that we're all in this together. And that work continues. The work must continue of reminding ourselves that we have an ability to stay engaged in a way that will make a difference. The work that you all did, it's going to have lasting effect. Again, I'll say, the election didn't turn out like we wanted it to. Certainly not as we planned for it to. But understand that the work we put into it was about empowering people. That's the spirit with the work we did. Our spirit and our work was about saying that it is a strength that we each have to lift people up, as opposed to beating people down. It is a strength we have that has let...
Okay, it's a strength of her party to lift people up instead of beating people down. It was her party, it was her administration that led to the, the impeachment number 1, impeachment number 2, Russia hoax, right? The 34 felony counts, the case in Georgia, the case in New York, 2 federal cases with Jack Smith. One was the classified documents case, and then the other one was January 6th interference of the certifying the elections case, right? So her party and the president that she's serving under right now were showing all forms of beating people down who were Trump supporters, and even Trump himself. Trump took a bullet to the ear because there's 3-letter organizations, 3-letter agencies within her administration that conspired allegedly to assassinate Trump. And thank God it only hit his ear. The bullet only hit his ear.
Lasting effect. So all that work that you did that was about engaging with other people, engaging with perfect strangers and in their face seeing a neighbor, that has lasting effect. It reminds people that there are leaders like you who care and will bring us together. And sometimes in the darkest moments, people lose faith in that. Are there people out there that feel that way? And you reminded people.
Kamala Harris's donors lost faith in her. Kamala Harris's supporters lost faith in her. In 2020, Biden got 81 million votes. In 2024, Kamala Harris got 74 million votes. They were 7 million votes short. And I don't buy that 7 million people stayed home. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
People that yes, there are. And there are a lot of us. And that strength cannot be taken from us. That is our strength. It cannot be taken from us. So listen, as I said the day after the election, I still strongly believe the light of America's promise will burn bright as long as we never give up and we keep fighting. And the fight that fueled our campaign, a fight for freedom and opportunity, that did not end on November 5th. A fight for the dignity of all people, that did not end on November 5th. A fight for the future, a future in which all people receive the promise of America? No. A fight that is about a fight for the...
Well, first of all people cannot receive the promise of America. Okay, when we're using the context of illegal aliens, the fact that they crossed the U.S. southern border illegally makes them criminals. So they cannot participate in America the way I would as a natural born citizen, as a citizen of the United States.
The ideals of our nation, the ideals that reflect the promise of America, that fight's not over. So look, we still have a lot to fight for, okay? A future where every American can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have a right to make decisions about their own body, not their government telling them what to do.
So when Kamala Harris refers to women, the only default policy decision that she goes to is abortion rights. America has abortion rights. They've been pushed down to the states for the states to decide. And if you happen to live in an extremely right state that bans abortion 100%, move to another state that is more liberal in that type of ruling on abortion. But I'm not just talking about abortion. I'm talking about women's rights in general. The right for natural born women to be safe in women's spaces without having a man with a wig on invade that space. No men in women's sports at any level, elementary, middle school, high school, college, professional. No sir, no ma'am. Okay? Women's rights is women's rights, and it's not just trans women's rights.
Our fight for the rule of law, for freedom for all, for equal justice, for the sacred principle that everyone, no matter where they start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be upheld. That's not over. That fight's still in us, and it burns strong.
Somebody put in the comments, help me out here. Where are we losing our rights at? As citizens of the United States, where are we losing our rights at? We have the right to vote, the right to work, go to school, drive a car, start a business, start a family, take vacation, do a podcast, run for office, whether it be local or state or federal office. Where are we losing our rights at?
And I know this is an uncertain time. I'm clear-eyed about that. I know you're clear-eyed about it.
Kamala Harris is anything but clear-eyed right now. I don't know. It looked like she had a couple of toddies and popped a couple of, pills or something. Because this right here is not a good look. Not a good look for her. Would you trust somebody like this to hold the nuclear codes as president? Put it in the chat, right? Let me know. Do you trust her as our commander-in-chief of the United States? Pretty interesting stuff.
And it feels heavy. And I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you.
Don't you ever.
You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you. Look, this mission that we have, it takes hard work. But as you've heard me say many times, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And in doing our work,
she basically sounds like an idiot right now. She kind of want to sound like Obama, but I think she's trying too hard. Like I said, I point to her record as VP over the last 3.5 going on 4 years. Besides signing the Inflation Reduction Act or being the tie-breaking vote for that in Congress, which increased inflation, it did not lower inflation. Other than going to trips to Poland and doing all this and doing all that, I mean, her performance was ineffective to hard-working men and women like me and you in America.
Will remain committed and intentional about building community, building coalitions, reminding people that we all have so much more in common than what separates us.
How can you build a community when communities are being overran by illegal aliens by the millions? By the millions. Soaking up resources, soaking up abandoned buildings that could have been renovated for citizens who lived there in the first place. How are you building communities when you are 100% champion for abortions right up to full term, which disproportionately affects the black community? How are you building communities with those values?
We will be armed with the faith and the fuel that tells us what is possible and then drives us to achieve it. So let's continue to organize and mobilize and stay engaged. And I thank you all. I thank you all. We are all in this together. All right? We are all in this together. And on this practical eve of Thanksgiving, I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving with the ability to find the ability at this moment to just remember there is so much to be thankful for. And so I wish for you that you are surrounded by the people you love and who love you. As you know, I encourage you to be around family in whatever way you compose that family, but to take a moment and just reflect on all the good you have done and all the good you have yet to do. We are powerful, those of us who love our country, and we've got a lot of work to do. And with that, I will hand it over to Noel. Thank you all, and happy Thanksgiving from Doug and me and our family.
So they heard that, folks. I think it was a lot of word salad. I think it was something that she had to do in order to shut down rumors that she left her campaign staffers high and dry, scrambling to put food on the table, scrambling to pay bills, scrambling to see where they could pick up the pieces and do an autopsy on this landslide loss that they experienced on November 5th. No one's seen it coming. I mean, you got to understand that the Democratic Party had Obama, Hillary, they had the DOJ going after Trump, they had Pelosi doing whatever she did January 6th. I ultimately hold her responsible due to her duties as Speaker of the House during that time. There was a lot of things that could have been prevented during J6 that were not prevented, and it's mostly because of Nancy Pelosi. They've had corporate media on their side to run propaganda saying Kamala Harris is the greatest thing since sliced bread, which I can't remember anything that she's done for the common people during her last 3.5 years. And then it appears that she's showing up drunk to address the world, basically. I mean, this is on Forbes. You know, I don't think she's going to run for president in 2028. And good luck with her running for governor of California. I think that's coming up real soon. But let me know what you think. I'm really interested in your comments. And please like, share, subscribe to Gregory Wright Show. Thank you.